This week marked a year on from the fatal Finsbury Park terrorist attack, and the hero imam who stopped the crowd from harming the attacker has called for a national day against Islamophobia. He believes not enough is being done to combat the rise of the far right, where Islamophobia has become more normalised. So this morning we're asking, is a day needed to answer Islamic hate? Well, joining me now to discuss this, we have the journalist Shaista Aziz. She's in the studio with us, and in East London this morning, Tunji Tawfiq Salami, an imam at Deptford Mosque. Good morning to you both. Tunji, I wonder if I could come to you first. Do we need a national day of Islamophobia?
I mean, we have to be clear about this. Do we need to earmark a day in a year to celebrate this? I mean, that's the point. But I would say that, earmarking a day to celebrate something, it's in itself, an attention to call everyone to that point. But I think we should be talking about it every day. We should not just say it has to be one day if there's a problem. The first question I think we should ask is, do we have a problem to be addressed in this community? Do we have an anti-Semitism or Islamophobia problem in this country? If the answer is yes, then we should come out with strategies of combating that. The imam was requested for a day to be earmarked as a day. The man was a live witness to the event at the Finsbury Park, and I'm not against his campaign for one day, because the benefit of that one day would be that people would be more geared towards understanding that some people are being unfairly treated because of the sins of another. There are minorities of Muslims who are laying claim to evil thoughts, blood-testing thoughts about Islam. But there are over 2.7 million Muslims in this country that are adding a lot of benefit to our, to our environments, in our communities, in our hospitals, in our universities. Why are we going to allow the sin or the crime of just very small population among them to be, robbed over millions of people who are law-abiding good Muslims in our community? I think it is high time for us as a community, not just the Muslims, to let everyone see that there are Muslim women on the street being attacked, there are mosques being set ablaze, there are a lot of people at work being discriminated against because of their faith. In fact, there are a lot of, research have shown, if you check, there are a lot of Muslims in different walks of life that are being treated because they're Muslims, and the other people are, treating them in a way that they do not want to be treated. So calling for these to be recognized is good.
I'm just going to bring Shaista here on that, because you're saying to a certain extent it does serve a purpose in raising awareness of the issue. Shaista, is that your viewpoint in terms of, do you think there needs to be a day of public rejection, a day where you raise awareness and stand up and go, this isn't okay, it shouldn't be normalised?
Well, I think that the Imam's suggestion, I can understand why he's made this suggestion, showing open and active solidarity with people, British people. By the way, I think it's very important to emphasise the fact that Muslims are part of Britain. We are British, this is our country. But to show active solidarity, especially in the current climate where there's open hostility, increasing racism, increasing bigotry, is a very important thing. However, having these weeks of, Islamophobia Week, Black History Month, all these types of months and weeks, it won't actually really move us forward in the direction that we need to get to. So what we really need to do is we need to have an honest and open discussion about Islamophobia in our country. How does it manifest? What impact does it have on the lives of British Muslims? And we need to tackle the structural inequalities, including structural racism. And unless we're willing to do that, then these weeks and months just pass every year. And as we're seeing, there is an increased rise in hate crime and in racism. I mean, a couple of weekends ago in London, there were fascists marching on the streets of London. They were chasing the police. This is very, very frightening for a lot of communities, and we need to get to the heart of understanding why this bigotry is manifesting in the way that it is.
I've had quite a few tweets in today saying people don't agree with the term Islamophobia. They say it's undefined, it affords one religion protection over others. Tunji, just touching on what Shaista picked up on there, what's been your experience of Islamophobia as an imam in Deptford?
I mean, you see, I run a charity called the I Submit Foundation for 8 years in this country, and I've been, dealing with a lot of issues within the community. We've seen a lot of cases and events where Muslims have been treated unjustly for a crime that they do not commit. And my campaign is that a Muslim should not be apologetic over a crime that they haven't committed. That's number one point that I would like to make. But however, no matter how unapologetic they are, we all have, as a community, a responsibility to treat injustice and unfairness in our community. We have a responsibility as a whole to address it. So if we claim in Britain that we are just, we are equal, we are transparent, we are liberal, we should try to identify any part of our community that is experiencing this type of injustice.
Okay,
so if a woman is walking on the street and they are law-abiding women.
Okay, so Tuju, I'm running out of time. I just want to get one final word from Shaista before we go. We've had this tweet in from Dorian who says, Islamophobia is a word used to shut down any criticism of Islam. She thinks there shouldn't be a national day against it. A lot of people saying that a national day would take away from the seriousness of the umbrella issue, which is racism and prejudice.
Well, I think the issue is that freedom of speech is being conflated into racism and into anti-Muslim hate and Islamophobia. Freedom of speech is over here, everything else is over here. To say that Islamophobia, to claim Islamophobia is to shut down freedom of speech, is actually where the problems start. So the first thing we need to do is we need to acknowledge that there is a problem. There is anti-Muslim hatred, which is on the rise, not just here. Your programme has been looking at what's happening in America. Donald Trump is one of the most divisive presidents in the history of the United States. His policies are openly discriminating against so many people, including Muslims. So we need to join up the dots and we need to understand that in order to tackle racism and Islamophobia, we have to name the problem, and the problem is called Islamophobia.
Shaista Aziz, thank you very much for your thoughts. And Tunji Tawfiq Salami joining us from East London, thank you very much indeed.